Hello everyone, welcome to Global Online, and here we are back with our paper 1 2022 batch preparation for NTA UGC-NET for August 2022 cycle. And in today's session we are going to take the topic that is research aptitude, and we are going to discuss the most expected questions of research aptitude in today's session. So before we go ahead, quickly let's understand what this Global Online has to offer you all with the complete comprehensive kit, that is the paper 1 crash course, which has the daily live lectures, which have all the notes on PDF notes on all the topics, which has last 10-year question papers and the test series comprising of 2500 MCQs. Right now, you can go with the Global Online app, or you can ping us on the WhatsApp number. For this paper 1, the cost of it is 3,500. We are having a 30% off, which will be for a limited period of time, and the course will be costing you 2,450. What you need to all do is that you need to go on Google Play Store, download the Global Online app. You can see such interface on the app. Once you buy the particular course, that is paper 1 crash course, you will be getting a interface in the form of content, which consists of all the 10 units, including the theory lectures, MCQ lectures, notes, mock test, and evaluation test, which will help you to prepare for your upcoming August 2022 cycle. Apart from this, we also have paper 2 notes and MCQs available for the given following subjects. So you can just check whether your subject is available in the given list. Again, for this, you can get in touch with us with the given WhatsApp number. The fees for same is 1,500. Here also 30% discount is going on. So fee right now is 1,050, which will be for a limited period of time. In case if you are interested, you can get in touch with us. So let's understand. For research aptitude, the total questions expected are 5. The total number of marks will be given for this topic is 10. That is, every question carries 2 marks. We have the content in the form of research, methods of research, steps of research, thesis and article writing application of ICT, and research ethics. So definitely from every sub point, you're going to get one question, that is for sure. We will be doing research today also, as well as we'll be doing research aptitude some questions tomorrow also. So just 2 days I have dedicated for research aptitude. So you should be able to ensure that, anything you are not able to understand or anything you're not able to get, you can put the same in the comment box also, and we will definitely work. We will be coming to that particular doubt clarification also. Now, let's start the session for the day with the first question on the screen. Why does a researcher write a research proposal at the start of the study? So it is talking about what? It is talking about research proposal. So any researcher who is coming up with his research, why does that researcher writes a research proposal, or research proposal is written for what? So whether to make sure that any left part of the study out is, when they are planning, so that they can advertise for the people to take part in the study, so that they can, they will not forget anything during the study, or basically to apply for ethical approval and to gain permission to assess the participants or the sources of data. So for what reason is the researcher, or for what reason a researcher writes a research proposal? So you have to give the reason from the following reasons. So what exactly is, what the research proposal is written for? So you have now time, you can come up with the answers. You can comment your answers in the comment box. Let's see how many of you are getting right answers and how many of you are coming for the right answers. Let's see. So yes, the one who writes a researcher, that is a researcher who writes a research proposal at the start of the study itself, is basically to apply for the ethical approval, to gain the permission to access, or to find out the sources of data. So at many places, like for example, depending upon the research topic, or depending upon the research research topic selected, many a times the researcher has to visit certain places, or has to gain access to certain data, and for that his research proposal will definitely be an entry point in order to ensure that the things are working up well, or the things that are aligning well. So hence research proposal plays an important role at the start of the study. Okay. Coming to question number 2. In random sampling, the probability of selecting an item from the population is dash. Now here, this question, which we have already done this question in one of the cycle, But the reason to pick up this question purposely was, many of the students get confused in this. So read the question very carefully. In random sampling, so we know that random, it means in any sequence or any form the sampling will be collected. Probability, it means yes, it is very sure that the sample will be collected. So in that, what is the selection or the probability of selecting an item is what? Whether it is known, whether it's unknown, whether it's undecided, or whether it is zero. Read it question. Do not go out of the question. Your question plays an important role. You should focus on the question itself. So yes, in the random sampling, the probability of selecting an item is known. See, in case if you are not understanding, so like let us take an example. These are your random samples. Okay, so let's give them the number. Okay, so random sampling, which comes under probability. So this is 1, 2, 3, okay, 4 and 5. So these are the 5 random samples. Now out of this these are random samples. So obviously the probability of any one to be picked up is 100%. So anyone will be picked up, but which, that is not known, but it will be picked up. So it means that the probability of selecting an item for initial stage, it's all. Maybe like, the researcher then will pick it up as per his convenience, or maybe for, as per his judgment. But initially there are entire chances that the sample will be picked up. So the probability of selecting an item is known. Okay. Next. The sample is a subset of what? So we have a sample. So sample is a subset of what? Is it a subset of subset? It means you can call it a subunit. So it is a subset of data. Is it a subset of group? Is it a subset of population? Or is it a subset of distribution? See, many times, when you are, I have always been telling about this combination of questions. Out of 5 questions, no doubt in the final examination also, when you get definitely 1 or 2 questions, not exactly I can say 2, you have 5 questions. In that 5, 1 or 2 questions will be very tough with the difficulty level. Actually, they are not tough. Your reading or, your focus on the question should be very defined. Otherwise, it becomes tough. But there will be surely 1 or 2 questions which are very simple. But your heavy pressure in the mind can lead to that mistake also. So like that, one such simple question is in front of you. The sample is a subset of what? Is it a subset of data, group, population, or distribution? The sample is a subset of what? It's a population. It means that this is your population, and from this population you pick up what? You pick up your sample. So please remember that that is your sample is a subset or a subunit of your population. Okay. Now, non-probability sampling, okay, is what? Non-probability form of sampling. So they have given you, and see, in sampling, such type of questions are only seen in most, it's almost till date, whatever cycle sampling questions are seen, they are seen with this only question. So they give you the list of the question, they give you the list of the methods, and they tell you to pick up whether it is probability or non-probability, depending upon the question. But this type of question itself is found always in your sampling form of question. So I'll read the question for you. Let's understand the question once again, and let's see. Non-probability form of sampling is what? Is it probability? Is it dimensional? Is it random? Or is it non-random? Okay. So from the given list, which indicates that this is the non-probability form of sampling? So yes, the non-probability form of sampling is dimensional sampling. So now let's see what is dimensional sampling. So basically, application of quota sampling in research ensures that, the sample group represents certain characteristics of a population dimensions. So characteristics is nothing but it is called as dimension. So dimension sampling is nothing but it is an application of quota sampling, which represents certain characteristics of the population which are chosen by the researcher. It means that it may be in the form of controlled quota sampling, where, where the characteristics are very defined, very clear, very sharp. So that comes under what? That comes under controlled sampling. But if they are not defined, they are not properly, they're not specified, you can take out of them. So it is called as what? It is called as uncontrolled. So make sure, see how this question got twisted now. Okay. Instead of writing it as quota sampling, which is a part of a non-probability sampling, but they have given question as what? They have given question that following is the part of non-probability sampling. So it is actually quota, but when quota sampling we apply with the help of certain characteristics feature, we also call it as dimensional sampling. It is an extended form, you can say, and dimensional sampling, which can have a complete instruction, that is controlled form, or no instructions, that is uncontrolled. I hope it is very clear. Okay, then coming to the next question. The next question, the list of all units in a population is called as. So everything, okay, everything, whatever list is there in the population, in research term, it is called as what? Is it called as the sampling frame? Is it called as the parameter? Is it called as bias? Or is this called as statistic? Okay, I'll repeat again. Whatever list is given in the population, it is called as what? Is it called as the sample frame? Is it called as the sampling frame? Or is it called as the parameter? Is it called as a bias? Or it is called as statistic? So yes, the one in which the list of all the units in the population is given is called as sampling frame. So you have everything in one specific list, and that everything will be listed. It's called as what? It is will be called as sampling frame. Okay. Coming to question number 6. Now here, this also question I have did, but the base, there's a reason to pick up this question, because every time I took this question, many times I've repeated this question, students went confused. So let's see, fieldwork based research. So when we talk about fieldwork research, is it empirical? Is it historical? Is it experimental? Or is it biographical? I'll repeat again. Any type of fieldwork, okay, any type of fieldwork based research will be called as what? Will it be called as empirical? Will it be called as historical? Whether it is called as experimental, or whether it is called as biographical? So any fieldwork based research is classified as what? Empirical. Now see, why the reason we will not select experimental, and why the reason we will go for empirical? So when we talk about empirical research, so empirical research is basically that research wherein you have a real life examples or samples, you can tell, or a population to be study upon. So that is real life. Okay, so it is called as empirical. Experimental, it means you're doing certain experiments, but here they didn't specify anything in detail what type of experimental things you're taking. They just said that fieldwork. So fieldwork, it means something which is based on what? Which is based on the real life examples, and hence it will be called as empirical research. It is be classified as what? It will be classified as empirical research. Now, research ethics. Now again, research ethics, as I said, there are definite questions on research ethics, but in my all the cycles, in my all the MCQs till date which I have taken, I have been very, 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 very specified or very clear that research ethics have certain keywords as per the UGC examination. So you should, if you revise previous year question also only for this topic, research ethics, you will clearly get an idea. It is very clearly mentioned. So last 5 cycles research, if ethics questions, if you take, this 2 marks will be in your hand. They have a, I mean to say, they have a typical pattern. Only you need to know how to judge the pattern. In my MCQs, all the MCQs, I have taken this particular question. So right now, research ethics, this is a simple question. Research ethics do not include what? Honesty, subjectivity, integrity, or objectivity. So what will be not included or entertained by research ethics? So whether it is honesty, whether it is subjectivity, whether it is integrity, or whether it is objectivity. So something which is not, which will not include in research ethics, it is subjectivity. So honesty, integrity, and objectivity are the characteristics of research. Okay. The next one we have is, which of the following? Now here the question is again on research ethics only. So the question is a bit different. So which of the following factors are responsible for transgression of ethical principle of research? I will once again read the question. The question is on research ethics only. What you have to do is, you have to just, say about which of the following, is, okay? Which of the following, they have given you one thing very clearly, that it is talking about 2 principles, following factors, sorry, 2 factors, okay? So which of the 2 factors from the given below are responsible for transgression of ethical principle in research? Now you should understand the meaning of this word transgression. So basically, transgression is nothing but it is something which is against the rule, which is something against the law, which is something against. Now you will tell what is a rule and law in research. So we can say that it is something against the code of research, code of conduct, no? Basically what to be done and what not to be done. So like that in research also you have do's and don'ts. So instead of using the word do's and don'ts, we call it as transgression. So which among the following, which of the following 2 points, okay, are responsible for transgression of ethical principle in research? So is it harm to participants? It is lack of informed consent? Is it non greeting the participants after the experiment is over, or asking difficult questions? So which of them stands to be what? Stands to be the factors which are responsible for transgression. So which 2 factors are responsible for transgression? Harm to participants, lack of informed consent, not greeting the participants, or asking them the difficult questions. So you have to choose from the given code, whether it is A, B, C, D. So one, you can go for, odd man out also. So which is against the law. So the 2 things which are against the law, the 2 factors which are against the law is option number A, that is harm to participants, and option number B, lack of informed consent. Now what does this indicate? Okay, let's understand this. So what they're saying, they have given you 4 factors, and they're saying that 2 goes against the law. It is not written in the law of research. Harm to participants, yes, no doubt. We can never harm the participants of the research method. I mean, a research scholar. I mean, a research scholar will never harm the participants. It is completely out of the law. Lack of informed consent. Now, what does this mean? Now, see, and in research, it is very important that, especially in case if you are taking the research questionnaire filled or observation, or you have to take the consent, especially when it is minors below, you can say 18, and you need to do some experiment on that, or you need to do some research on that. You need to consult them. You need to talk to them. You need to talk to their parents. In such case, you need to take their consents, and then that will be called as what? It will be called as, it is a proper research process. And if you do not do that, it goes against the law. So it will be called as what? It will be called as lack of informed consent. Okay, so that is option number A and B are against the rule or against the law. Okay. Next, a research scholar not acknowledging the help and support of the respondents. Now, who are respondents? The people who participate in the research questionnaire, observation, or survey. So if the research scholar does not acknowledge them, acknowledge, it means does not show the gratitude towards the support and help given by the respondents, then such act will be called as what? What is that behavior in research called as? So whether it is a technical lapse, whether it is a willful negligence, whether it is unethical act, or whether it is lack of respect, it will be defined as what? So again, I'll read the question. A research scholar not acknowledging the help and support of respondents as well as the guide. So such you can say such process or such act will be called as what? So given is the below: technical lapse, willful negligence, unethical act, or lack of respect. So in research terminology, it is not called as anything, but it is called as unethical. So it is, it is something which is not accepted. So we use the word as what? Unethical. Because technical lapse we will use for some technological technological drawback or loophole. Willful negligence, which you're doing willingly. Lack of respect is, something which is not a part of a research actually, which can be considered as, cultural values. But here it is nothing about research. So yes, the right answer will be unethical. So according to the research, this entire behavior will be called as unethical. Next, references serves the purpose of what? So we have at the end of the, you have research. When the researcher writes in, 2 things are added. One is the references and one is bibliography. Now, many students get confused in both. So references and bibliography, what? So references basically tells, whatever type of research help you have taken, research papers or, e-journals or some other research articles. So you write it under references, specifically research, anything related to research. But apart from that, you have taken some website help, you have taken some help of something else. So that comes under bibliography. So bibliography, takes into consideration everything, but references basically focuses on only the articles or magazines or e-journals. So whether it gives authenticity, whether it is give decision making, whether it is ornamental value, or whether it exhibits great achievement. So what does references serves the purpose of? So yes, from the given list, references gives what? References gives authenticity. References talks about what? It talks about authenticity. Okay. Next is, which type of research has a potential to grow as per the situation? So now this is something from the types of research they have given. So from the given types, okay, I'll repeat it again. From the given types, fundamental research, applied research, evaluative research, action research, which research indicates that it is, it has a potential to grow. So you can say progress, you can say development as per the situation. No, whatever the situation it is has a progressive impact. So whether it's fundamental, whether it is applied, whether it is evaluative, or whether it is action. So the one which has a potential to grow as per the situation is the action research. Okay. So see, fundamental research is based on, the theory, theories, I mean to say, coming basic research, you can call, depending upon the application of the theory, which is not given in the example, in the question. Applied is application, which again the question does not tells it anything. Evaluative research, which talks about, evaluation, which is again not indicating anything. And action research, it means something which, immediately you try to implement in order to see some progress, or in order to see the development, or in order to see the, you can say, growth. So the type of research which has a potential growth is called as what? It is called as action research. Okay. Next. Recording the observation. I'll read again. Recording the observation. Entire question, read it. Properly read the entire question. If you are recording any observation in which observer rates an individual based on center value. So if it is, center value means which is centrally accepted, it will be called as evaluative, it will be called as central tendency, it will be called as halo effect, or it will be called as categorical effect. Recording the observation in which the observer rates an individual based on the center value. So it will be known as what? It will be known as evaluation effect, central tendency, halo effect, or a categorical effect. So in such case, it will be called as what? Just a second. Yeah, I have just listed out all the explanation. I'll help you to understand what are these terms called in case any new student who is not aware about these terms. Okay, so you should not get confused. So actually the recording wherein the observer rates everyone as per the central value is called as what? It's called as central tendency. Okay, it is known as central tendency, or you call it as error of central tendency. But then what exactly it means? So let's read understand one by one. So if we say halo effect, so it is, basically it tends to form the positive opinion of another person based on all the positive. So it is basically positive, which based on the previous overall impression you form it. It can be positive, it can be negative. So whatever impact you have, or based on the earlier impact, whatever impact you have, you try to code them as what? You try to code them as the halo effect. So what is previously be there in your mind, based on that you come up with an I mean to say, you come up with a conclusion. So that is called as halo effect. Central tendency, it means to avoid, making any extreme judgments. You have an assessment as per the central scale. And as per the central scale, you assess the observer, or you rate it as per the central tendency. That is the central part of assessment, you can tell. Categorical effect is something which is based on the observation of a particular category. So where you have to keep in mind the particular category, and based on that you observe. Evaluation research is something which is carried out with the purpose of providing information that will be useful in decision making. So it is very important that, okay, whatever type of evaluation you are doing. It will be whatever type of evaluative criteria you have. Based on that, you come up with a decision. Now, question number 13, it is on hypothesis. So which is not a type of hypothesis. So we have seen hypothesis. Okay, they have listed certain hypothesis, future hypothesis, null hypothesis, logical hypothesis, or empirical hypothesis. So which of them is not called as what? A type of hypothesis. So something which is not called as a type of hypothesis is called as future. It is called as future hypothesis. So we have seen what is null hypothesis. Logical hypothesis is the one which gives the explanation of the research tentative statement. Empirical hypothesis, which talks about the research evidence. So all these are the types of hypothesis, but the one which is not a type of hypothesis will be called as what? Will be called as your future hypothesis. Okay. Then next one we have is a questionnaire that offers no scope to any respondents, to any of the respondents' own view. So like, for example, when you have a questionnaire, okay, when you build up a questionnaire, when you're building up a questionnaire, you have a scope that, the respondent can describe or present his own view. So is it is called as what? Close-ended, scheduled, open-ended, or unstructured. So like, for example, suppose this is question 1, okay, and this is question 2. So there are 2 questions. In this, I'm saying that mention your gender, okay? Your gender, you have to mention your gender. Okay, now in question 2, obviously here I'll be giving male, okay, female, or transgender. So you have to just click, as per the gender choice. Question 2 says that describe your opinion on inflation. Describe your opinion on inflation. So now here they're asking no scope for any respondent. So no scope, it means, now see, question number 1, I have given you the gender and I have given you the restrictions. You have to answer in this restriction only. So there is no scope. So what such type of questions are called? And here there is a lot of scope. So when there is a no scope, it will be called as close-ended question. So if you have seen this, you have to just tick, which gender you belong to, or like, for example, whether you are working or not. So it is yes or no questions. Okay, so whether you're working or not. But if you want to specify anything, you're not allowed in close-ended questions. It is only and only allowed in open-ended questions. So open-ended, where your opinion, suggestion, a description is asked. Okay, next question number 15. A researcher intends to make use of information and communication technology in his or her research. What consideration should weigh more in such decision? So when a researcher is, like, for example, when a researcher has been asked to use ICT, what is more to be considered? Appropriateness of a tool, cost involved, availability of the tool, willingness, to offer help, or the company from which the ICT equipment has been procured. So which of them goes with what? Which of them goes with use of ICT? So from the given list or from the given code, which will be the one? A researcher which intends to make use of ICT, will be taking into consideration what from the given list. So let's see. Yes, it is nothing but it will be called as what? Which code? So it will be taking into consideration the appropriateness of the tool. Okay, obviously the tools to be used, it has to be, appropriate, no doubt in that. The cost, yes, the cost in procuring it very well. Availability of a tool, willingness, and the company, the brand, or, doesn't matter. But the first 3 points are definitely one which one needs to take into consideration. Okay. So you have to tell me what your score is out of 15. So you can put out of 15, or if you count one question is for 3 marks, so out of 30. So you can weigh yourself on the scale of 15 or on the scale of 30. Put your scores in the comment box. Let me see how many of, in fact, the questions were not that tough. 15 out of 15 also should be there, because this we have revised and it is a revision class and most expected topics. That's the reason it should be actually 15 on 15. But still, let me see how many of you have done well. That's all for the day. Thank you, everyone, and see you in the next class with the research aptitude questions itself. Thank you.